While we remain steadfast in seeking common grounds based on the commonalities, we shall have nothing to fear about the differences, and will be able to find the right way to resolve them. Disagreements and disputes may arise between countries due to misperceptions, diverging interests, or external interferences.
We are concerned over consistent actions that are in violation of obligations under international law, including the 1982 UNCLOS and under the DOC. We must oppose the dangerous use of Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels in the South China Sea. We are concerned over illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing and the militarization of reclaimed features in the South China Sea. We continue to support freedom of navigation and overflight and the rules-based international order in the South China Sea. We are still committed to defending our sovereignty, our sovereign rights, and the maritime jurisdiction in accordance with UNCLOS.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, please rise. The President of the Republic of Indonesia, ASEAN, and U.S. leaders rise at the venue.
Congratulations on a successful year as the chair of ASEAN. It is my honor to be here in Indonesia and to be back in Southeast Asia. This is my third trip to Southeast Asia since taking office as Vice President of the United States, and my fourth to the Indo-Pacific. And in May of 2023, it was my pleasure to chair several sessions with ASEAN leaders at the historic U.S. ASEAN Special Summit in Washington, D.C. It is good to see so many of you again. The United States has an enduring commitment to Southeast Asia and more broadly to the Indo-Pacific. We are a proud Pacific power, and the American people have a profound stake in the future of the Indo-Pacific. We share historic bonds and common values with many of the people and nations here. And our alliances and partnerships support the security and prosperity of the United States and ASEAN. For example, Mr. President, as you mentioned, the flow of commerce between Southeast Asia and the United States supports more than 600,000 American jobs. And U.S. ASEAN economic cooperation represents a huge opportunity for growth for both of our markets. And the defense and deterrence commitments of the United States and our security presence in the Indo-Pacific help protect our homeland and ensure regional stability. It is therefore in our vital interest to promote a region that is open, interconnected, prosperous, secure, and resilient. Colleagues, ASEAN is at the center of America's commitments to the Indo-Pacific. As the United States Indo-Pacific strategy makes clear, we are committed to ASEAN centrality. And I am pleased that our collective vision for the Indo-Pacific is in strong alignment. We have a shared commitment to international rules and norms, and to our partnership on pressing national and regional issues such as the crisis in Myanmar. The United States will continue to press the regime to end the horrific violence, to release all those unjustly detained, and to reestablish Myanmar's path to inclusive democracy. And we will continue to support ASEAN's 5-point consensus. More broadly, in a demonstration of the enduring and important relationship between the United States and Southeast Asia, since President Biden and I took office, we have expanded U.S. ASEAN ties. To that end, we have upgraded the relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership. We invested in infrastructure and the digital economy. We launched major initiatives to address the climate crisis and health security. And we expanded cultural and educational exchange programs. And today, I am pleased to announce that we will establish, through a public-private partnership, the first ever U.S. ASEAN Center in Washington, D.C. The center will facilitate official ASEAN engagements and support further exchange between our people, businesses, and academic institutions. To further strengthen our ties, I'm also pleased that our ambassador to ASEAN, Johannes Abraham, is here in Jakarta. He has been a close advisor to President Biden and to me since we took office, and I know his leadership will help make progress on the many issues we will discuss today. Additionally, I will acknowledge and welcome the presence of Timor-Leste in this meeting. The United States will continue to support Timor-Leste in its path towards ASEAN membership. In conclusion, I believe as leaders we must address global challenges of today while also investing in a long-term vision. We must look 10, 20, 30 years out and measure our current steps against that vision. The United States and the nations of Southeast Asia share many long-term interests and priorities, as well as a long-term vision. So with that in mind, I look forward to our discussion today, and I thank you.
While we remain steadfast in seeking common grounds based on the commonalities, we shall have nothing to fear about the differences, and it will be able to find the right way to resolve them. Disagreements and disputes may arise between countries due to misperceptions, diverging interests, or external interferences. Whatever the cause, it is vital to face the issues squarely, remove misunderstandings, and keep the differences in check. Facing up to the problems is a prerequisite for finding solutions, whereas an ostrich policy would only make things worse. The most effective way to clear up misunderstandings is to strengthen exchanges and increase mutual understanding and trust through sincere communication. To keep differences under control, what is essential now is to oppose picking sides, oppose bloc confrontation, and oppose a new Cold War, and to ensure that disagreements and disputes among countries are properly handled. Our meeting and discussion here are actually a concrete action in seeking common ground and resolving differences. We need to bear in mind the larger interest of peace and development in Asia, approach the commonalities and differences between countries in the right way, and make the foundation of APD cooperation even stronger. We should work in concert to meet various types of risks and challenges, promote development, prosperity, and stability of our region, and build an Asian community with a shared future. That concludes my opening remarks. Thank you.
I commend the U.S. leadership for the hard work and vision that resulted in the joint statement now known as the Spirit of Camp David. The statement cemented a common security agenda among the United States, Japan, and South Korea on arguably the most problematic issues in the region, issues that undermine regional peace and prosperity, including but not limited to supporting the free and open international order based on the rule of law. The statement opposes any unilateral attempts to change the status quo in the waters of the Indo-Pacific and the militarization of reclaimed features in South China Sea. It as well expresses concern for the continued illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing that affects our fisherfolk. As we forge closer and deeper relationships in the coming years, we hope to continue working together towards a region that enjoys lasting peace, security, stability, and resilience. We call on ASEAN and our partners to harness our shared interests and rally us into taking joint action, guided by ASEAN centrality and universal multilateralism. We must not allow tensions in the South China Sea to further escalate. In this spirit, and in accordance with the DOC, we continue to urge all parties to exercise self-restraint and refrain from unilateral and assertive activities that would increase tensions in the region, misunderstandings, and miscalculations in the South China Sea. We are concerned over consistent actions that are in violation of obligations under international law, including the 1982 UNCLOS and under the DOC. We must oppose the dangerous use of Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels in the South China Sea. We are concerned over illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing and the militarization of reclaimed features in the South China Sea. We continue to support freedom of navigation and overflight and the rules-based international order in the South China Sea. We are still committed to defending our sovereignty, our sovereign rights, and the maritime jurisdiction in accordance with UNCLOS. The Philippines has consistently reaffirmed our support for the principles and purposes of the UN Charter, especially of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and political independence, with respect to the conflict in Ukraine as well as other areas of concern. The Philippines will always continue to champion an open and inclusive regional order where the rule of law and ASEAN centrality remain the bedrock of an evolving regional architecture.